Hey there, welcome back to my story channel, where we give you through the best Reddit tales just for you. Let's dive right into the first story. The first one is the title story, and it starts like this. I never thought I'd find myself in a battle with a homeowners association that didn't even have authority over my property, but here we are. This is the story of how I renovated my house while simultaneously watching an overzealous homeowners association implode when they tried to stop me. My wife and I bought our dream home last year, a beautiful 1960s ranch-style house that needed some updating but had amazing potential. It sits on a large corner lot in a great neighborhood just outside of Seattle. The previous owner had lived there for 40 years and maintained it well, but the style was stuck in the 1980s with popcorn ceilings, dated wallpaper, and a cramped kitchen. We spent months planning an extensive renovation that would open up the floor plan, add a master suite, and modernize everything while keeping the home's original character. The plans included extending the back of the house by 15 feet to create a larger kitchen and family room space, plus adding a second-story master suite over the new addition. We worked with an architect to ensure everything met code and filed all the proper permits with the city. That's when the trouble started. 2 days after our contractor put up the construction fence and started demo work, I got an aggressive letter in my mailbox from the Pine Ridge Estates Homeowners Association. The letter stated that our renovation plans violated multiple homeowners association covenants, and we needed to cease all work immediately or face daily fines of $500. According to them, our plans violated rules about maximum home height, setback back requirements, and architectural consistency. They demanded we submit detailed plans for homeowners association board approval before proceeding. I was confused because when we bought the house, there was no mention of a homeowners association in any of our closing documents. Our title search showed no homeowners association liens or restrictions. I called our real estate agent, who confirmed there was no homeowners association disclosure because our property wasn't part of one. After doing some research, I discovered that Pine Ridge Estates was a newer subdivision built in the early 2000s behind our neighborhood, while their homeowners association controlled that development. Our 1960s neighborhood was completely separate and not under their jurisdiction. I wrote back explaining this and included copies of our deed and property records showing we weren't part of their homeowners association. I thought that would be the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. The next day, a man in an ill-fitting suit showed up at my door, introducing himself as Richard Thompson, president of the Pine Ridge Estates Homeowners Association. He was accompanied by Karen Mitchell, their architect. Your compliance officer, we need to discuss your unauthorized construction project, Richard said with an air of smug authority. There's nothing to discuss, I replied calmly. My property isn't part of your homeowners association. You have no jurisdiction here. Karen jumped in. That's where you're wrong. Your property borders our development, and your changes will impact our property values. Our covenants clearly state that any adjacent properties must maintain architectural consistency. I had to stifle a laugh. That's not how homeowners associate work. You can't enforce rules on properties that aren't part of your association. I've already provided documentation showing we're not members. We'll see about that, Richard sneered. Construction stops now or we'll be forced to take legal action. I closed the door in their faces and called my lawyer, Jim Henderson. He specialized in real estate law and had helped us with our closing. I filled him in on the situation. Jim chuckled when I finished. They are completely out of line, and homeowners association has zero authority over non-member properties. Keep copies of all correspondence. If they try anything, we'll shut them down fast. The next day, our contractor called saying 2 people were blocking his crew from entering the property, claiming they were homeowners association officials enforcing a stop work order. I immediately drove home and found Richard and Karen standing in front of our driveway. Richard was waving some official-looking papers. We filed an injunction, he declared triumphantly. All work must stop pending a hearing. I grabbed my phone and called the police to report trespassing while simultaneously texting Jim within 15 minutes. Two patrol cars arrived. The officers quickly determined the injunction was just a fake document Richard had created himself. So you need to leave this property immediately. One officer told Richard, you have no authority here and you're trespassing. If you return, you'll be arrested. Karen started protesting, but Richard grabbed her arm and they finally left. The officers took my statement and advised me to file for a restraining order, but the Homeowners Association wasn't done yet. The next day I was served with actual court papers. The Homeowners Association had filed for a temporary restraining order to halt construction, claiming our renovation would cause irreparable harm to their communities' property values. They included photos of other homes in their development, trying to argue that our plan changes would destroy the neighborhood's aesthetic cohesion. Jim immediately filed a motion to dismiss along with a counter-suit for harassment and abuse of process. He also requested sanctions against their attorney for filing a frivolous lawsuit. This is textbook Homeowners Association overreach. Jim explained they're trying to bully you because they think you'll back down rather than fight, but they picked the wrong battle this time. While waiting for our court date, the harassment continued. Homeowners Association board members would drive by multiple times daily, taking photos and writing down license plate numbers of our contractors. They started sending letters to all our neighbors, both in and out of their Homeowners Association, claiming we were destroying property values and encouraging them to complain to the city. That's when I decided to do some digging into this Homeowners Association through public records requests and conversations with Pine Ridge residents. I discovered some interesting facts. Richard Thompson had been sued 3 times by Homeowners Association members for selective enforcement of rules. The Homeowners Association had never filed proper annual reports with the state. Their financial record showed questionable spending of Homeowners Association funds on consulting fees paid to companies owned by board members. They had been operating with expired insurance coverage for the past year. I also learned that many Pine Ridge residents were set up with the board's heavy-handed tactics. One neighbor, Sarah Chen, told me they tried to find her $1,000 for planting unauthorized roses in her backyard. Another resident, Mike Rodriguez, was fighting them over demands to remove a small rainbow pride flag from his porch. Our court date arrived 3 weeks later. The Homeowners Association's attorney tried arguing that because our property was visible from their development, they had standing to enforce their architectural standards on us. He presented a parade of Homeowners Association board members who testified about potential property value impacts. Then it was our turn. Jim systematically demolished their case. First, he presented clear documentation showing our property was not part of their Homeowners Association and never had been. He included aerial photos showing how the developments were completely separate. Second, he called the city planner, who testified that our renovation plans fully complied with all zoning requirements and building codes. Third, he presented evidence of the Owners Association's pattern of harassment, including police reports, fake documents, and witness statements from contractors. Finally, he revealed their expired insurance and financial irregularities, suggesting the board was more interested in controlling others than properly managing their own association. The judge was not amused. She not only dismissed their case with prejudice but also granted our countersuit. Her ruling was blistering. This court finds the plaintiff Homeowners Association's actions to be a gross overreach of authority and a clear attempt to exert control over property outside their jurisdiction. Their conduct shows a disturbing pattern of harassment and intimidation that cannot be tolerated. She ordered the Homeowners Association to pay our legal fees over $15,000, pay punitive damages of $25,000, cease all contact with us, issue a written apology to be distributed to all Pine Ridge residents. But the story doesn't end there. The judge also referred the case to the state attorney general's office for investigation of the Homeowners Association's financial practices. The fallout was spectacular. Once Pine Ridge residents learned about the board's actions and financial irregularities they called an emergency. Meeting Richard, Karen, and the entire board were voted out. The new board discovered the old leadership had depleted their reserve fund through questionable contracts and legal fees. From similar harassment cases, our renovation proceeded smoothly after that. We finished the addition 6 months later, creating our dream home with a gorgeous open-concept kitchen, family room, and master suite. The exterior design actually improved the look of both neighborhoods, and several Pine Ridge residents have complimented us on it. The new Homeowners Association board sent us a formal apology and has instituted major reforms, including required training for all board members on Homeowners Association legal limitations, independent audits of all finances, new procedures for architectural review, limits on legal spending without member approval. Richard and Karen both moved away shortly after losing their positions. Last I heard, the state investigation into their financial dealings was ongoing. Sarah Chen, who became the new Homeowners Association president, stopped by recently with a housewarming gift. "We're so sorry for what you went through," she said. "The old board forgot that homeowners associations should build community, not walls. We're working to change that culture." The whole experience taught me several valuable lessons. Always know your property rights and don't back down when someone tries to overstep them. Document everything, every interaction, every piece of paper, every photo. Research your opponent's knowledge is power. Build allies in the community. Other resident stories helped expose the board's pattern of abuse. Don't be afraid to fight back legally when necessary. I've since joined a local property rights group that helps other homeowners deal with Homeowners Association over reach. We've successfully helped several people stand up to similar intimidation tactics. The construction dust has settled. We're loving our renovated home, and peace has returned to both neighborhoods. Sometimes I catch myself chuckling when I look at our second story addition, the one that caused so much drama. It's a daily reminder that standing up to bullies, even when they come wrapped in Homeowners Association authority, is always worth it. As for Richard and Karen, well, I heard they tried to move into another Homeowners Association controlled community across town. Apparently their application was denied after a background check revealed their history. Karma, as they say, comes for everyone. Eventually, the best part, our renovation inspired several other homeowners in both neighborhoods to update their properties. The entire area looks better than ever, proving that positive change doesn't come from control and intimidation, but from respect for property rights and community cooperation. Now, when people ask about our home renovation, I have quite a story to tell, and somewhere in a filing cabinet I keep that original fake Homeowners Association injunction as a reminder that sometimes the biggest victories come from the most unexpected battles. Update: the state investigation concluded. Richard and Karen's legal troubles weren't over. It's been about 8 months since my original post, and several people have asked for an update. A lot has happened, so I thought I'd share the aftermath of our Homeowners Association battle. Remember how I mentioned the state attorney general was investigating the Homeowners Association's finances? Well, that investigation wrapped up last month, and it uncovered way more than anyone expected. The forensic audit revealed that Richard and Karen, along with a former treasurer, had been running quite a scheme over their 5 years on the board. They had created fake consulting companies to build a Homeowners Association for non-existent services, awarded landscaping contracts to Richard's brother-in-law at 3x market rates, used Homeowners Association funds to pay for personal legal expenses from their previous lawsuits, falsified meeting minutes to approve expenditures that were never actually voted on, hidden the fact that they hadn't carried proper insurance coverage for 3 years in total. They had misappropriated over $180,000 of Homeowners Association funds. The Attorney General's office filed criminal charges against both of them for fraud and embezzlement. I got a call from Sarah Chen, the new Homeowners Association president, asking if I'd be willing to testify about their harassment campaign against us. She explained that our case had helped crack open the whole investigation when Prosecutors started looking into their legal expenses. They found dozens of similar cases where the old board had tried to bully non-homeowners, association homeowners, and even their own members. Your stand against them gave others the courage to come forward. Sarah told me, we've had over 20 homeowners provide evidence of their abuse of power. The criminal trial started 3 weeks ago. I testified about their harassment. The